Fishing is my biggest passion in life. I look forward to going on a new trip every weekend. We don't have big rivers, but there are a lot of lakes around, which I discover on trips like this. This was also the case this time. My friend told me about a remote lake about 80 kilometers from town. The place is remote, not many people know about it. But for the same reason, the bait there is amazing. I left early in the morning and at dawn was on site. It was really quite deserted here. But the fisherman was not looking for any company. The lake is big and surrounded by young growth. You just will not get close. But he found a carefully made and cleared path. I pumped up the rubber boat and went out on the water. The most surprising thing was that it was rather deep in the middle of the river. I did not have enough rope with a rock, which I took for an anchor, to reach the bottom. Then I looked for a place in the reeds near the overgrown shore. I hooked myself to them, collected a fishing rod, adjusted the float on the bottom, put the bait on the hook, threw the rod, put a cigarette in my teeth, and sat and waited for a nibble. For the sake of such moments, and you go. Silence around. The sun was floating out from behind the horizon as a huge red ball. It wasn't bright yet. The water is as still as glass. You sit with a little cigarette smoke and look at the float, waiting when it jerked carefully for the first time. It's beautiful. That's how it was, except for one thing. I turned away from the float for a moment to admire the sunrise, and when I turned around again, there was a man sitting in the boat in front of me with a motionless face. I was just paralyzed from surprise. No, not fear. Fear then came, and what a fierce one, like a beast. At first, the amazement, the unexpectedness and absurdity of the situation, just knocked the ground out from under my feet. In my case, the bottom of the boat. Imagine this. A second ago everything was great. You turn your head, and the world as usual ceases to exist. A man, okay, a fisherman, dressed almost like me. He has a sad face, sits still and stares, but not at the float, but at the lake. I have a rubber double boat. It is big enough. I took it to sit in it comfortably. Weight didn't matter, because I took it by car. So there's a seat as they call it, of wood from side to side. So I sit on one of them, and the other is this strange man. But the boat is rubber. You understand that under the weight of two people, should sink deeper into the water. But it was still there, submerged under my weight, and stayed there without moving. Even more terrifying to realize that the man weighed nothing, and not to say that there was anything sinister or scary about him. Just a man, like taking a buddy on a fishing trip. The only thing that still distinguished him from an ordinary man was the unblinking stare. Inanimate. I don't know how long I sat in a stupor, looking at the man. I woke up when the ash from my cigarette fell on my jacket. I rolled back from the boat into the water and swam to the shore. I swam to the shore, thank God it was not too deep. In 2 meters my feet reached the bottom. When I turned my head back to the boat, I saw that there was nobody there. But you can tell me what you want, but it could not be my imagination. There was a man in the boat, and I think I even felt the stench of sludge coming off of him. By the way, I was not surprised when I heard that a fisherman disappeared in that place last year and they never found him. I think it was him in my boat for old time's sake. So after that incident, I can't go fishing anymore. I tried, but it hurts terribly, even when I'm fishing with a buddy. All the time it seems that if you distract yourself for a moment, you turn your head, and he's sitting in the boat with a sad face and looking at the water. I sold that boat to please my wife. Now I'm sad at home on weekends.
Subscribe to the channel. There will be many more interesting things.